When it comes to players being named the best player, they usually look at the FNCS wins, which in Fortnite is the highest competitive ranking, and where pros earn majority of their earnings, the winning teams earn $180,000 between them. Over this weekend was FNCS Day 1 and 2, both days chose compete in 6 matches to earn the most points possible. The team with the highest points from both days combined wins. Usually in Day 2 there's a 2 times multiplier, so any points they earn that day is doubled. And they have been running that format for some time now, since if you do bad in Day 1 you have a chance for the next day. Well, in this FNCS they decided let's remove it. Something else different going into this FNCS is the surge strategy. It's normal for teams to build a massive base during the mid game and look for Storm Surge tags on players so they don't struggle endgame. For the players who don't know, Storm Surge is activated when a certain amount of players remain and deals damage to players who haven't dealt enough damage during the match. You might be confused, what's the issue since that's been activated for years? But just recently in FNCS lobbies, players have decided to build surge bases early in the game and trade surge with teams, letting no teams run around the map and fight. This makes it very boring to watch and teams who have no one to trade with will be punished. And Clix actually spoke up on this before FNCS started, but Fortnite Competitive couldn't come up with a solution in time. And Swizzy, a competitive favourite, spoke up on this as well, just a couple hours after finishing Day 1, so must have been very frustrated, and said they should remove hit scan weapons. But enough talk about that. In this video I'll be covering the EU and NA Central Region winners, since that's what I've watched and has been the most popular. Starting off with EU Day 1, the previous FNCS winners Vico, Ven and Flixie decided to have a new approach and land at 5 different spots. I'm not sure completely what the thought process was, maybe they thought they could outfit the map, but let's look at the winners and the leaderboard. Game 1, Queasy, Swizzy and Mustache came out on top. They took high and had it under control and managed to drop a 12 kill game. Game 2, Vanyak, Pixie and Mariscal took the win with only 7 eliminations, but still impressive nevertheless. Game 3, the Polish trio Seti, Cami and Cherry won with 7 eliminations also, and the last FNCS they didn't play so well since they were contested by a French team and lost off spawn but then had a crazy reverse sweep. Game 4, Vico, Ven and Flixie had to win and they sure did. They had a rough start and they snuck up on Queasy in the same game when he was going for the vault alone since his team was in first at the time. They dropped 18 kills that game which definitely brought them back up. Game 5, Malibuco, Ping and Wox won, so in all different games so far, a different trio has won, keeping this interesting and close. They only managed to pick up 6 eliminations that game, but still good nevertheless. And lastly, Game 6, stopping any new winners was no other than Vanyak, Mariscal and Pixie winning with 14 eliminations. Top 5 after Day 1 is Thomas HC's trio, again 293 points and sadly 0 wins. But just 1 point above them in 4th with 294 points was Swizzy's trio, looking like they struggle finding kills and placement. Now on the podium, 3rd place for Doxy's team, which I don't think anyone expected since this is a new trio, and they managed to get 302 points total. 2nd place with 2 wins not been enough is Vanyak's team, they got 313 points, but not really the best placement either. And 1st place winning by over 100 plus points is Malibuca's team, they had the 2nd most kills points throughout the Day 1 and played very consistent. It would be quite hard to throw this lead, but anything could still happen in Day 2. Other notable teams to talk about is Vico's team, they play 6th, having the most points for eliminations and 290 points in total. They definitely need to step up going into Day 2, but Venice seems to be planning something different, saying he might generally spin a wheel for their drop spots, which is a very bold move. 8th place was the Polish trio, I believe they can do better in Day 2, and everyone's favourite, MrSavage's team placed 18th with 129 points. He's been contested by Twy, who is a 16-year-old and a former teammate of his, and they're both landing at a mountain with 15 chest spawns. Also, MrSavage tweeted his cards because every FNCS finals he seems to be contested, but winning off spawn wasn't his main concern because they won multiple times. Now even though Savage's trio did die to Surge at one point, he said that wasn't the biggest issue. His trio was getting very unlucky with max zone pulls and couldn't trade Surge with anyone because he had to spend that time looting. And on these max rotates, every team was looking at them because they were in Surge towers. To make it even better, in the last game Vidal goes down to Moneymaker's trio and they camped the car for 2.5 minutes, then this happened.
Imagine camping the card for 2.5 minutes, and then you die like this. Fnayen, bro. Moneymaker's teammate. And then this guy, what the fuck is this guy doing, bro?
Seems like they got very unlucky, but need to adapt quicker in these scenarios and not be scared to fight or spawn. Lastly, Teeny's team placed 27th with 84 points, a very rough start since the show is definitely capable of much more. Day 2 of EU FNCS has concluded, so let's get into it. Swizzy's trio placed 5th with 577 points, and Queasy tweeted after saying he felt lost. I wasn't sure if his IGLM was good. 4th place was Malibuca's team, who got full grief by Venno, which I'll go into details later on, but he was 2nd place going into the 11th game and didn't load in due to a bug. Let's just say he wasn't happy that Fortnite didn't bother restarting. Third place was Pix's team, a very consistent trio, having 605 points, also the youngest team in its grounds, the oldest one only been 17 and the others 16. Second place was Redoxy's trio, everyone was certain that they would win, since they were first on the leaderboard for some time. Also Werner even tweeted this mid-grands. First place was Vanya, Pixie and Marius Cal, and Marius is the first Dane to win FNCS, also this trio has now qualified to Globals. They managed to win 2 games in day 2 and definitely deserved it. Werner's team, the previous FNCS winners, placed 6th with 577 points, also winning game 1. Game 2 they decided to contest Malibuca because he was first at the time, and it took too long fighting, eventually 2 teams third partied them and took them both out. Malibuca did get his get back though because in the last game he killed Venno, but it definitely was a grief fest. Thomas HG managed to win the last game, putting up a great performance, but just missed the land spot by 1 place, coming 8th with 546 points. This has to be the most unluckiest player. When will his curse actually end? The Polish trio Seti came 9th, having 530 points. In day 1 they placed 8th, so it looks like they couldn't pick up enough points to bring them back. MrSavage's trio couldn't bring it back either, placing 19th with 248 points. Regional mentioned that the teams contested and placed 33rd, 30th, 26th and 20th. So all of them placing worse than them. It feels bad, not sure if Savage will go back into retirement, but he needs a new approach for sure. Lots of teams have had a rough start in this FNCS because of the North Zone pause, but also this Storm Surge trading strategy. But now it's time to see who wins NA Central FNCS. Moving on to day 1 NA Central, this was very intense and back and forth. Game 1, Booger, Threats and Rapid take the win with 11 eliminations. Game 2, Peterbot dies dropping down from height to frag out, leaving Cold and Rich as a duo, clutching up with 13 kills. Game 3, Clix clutches up for his trio, both Yomza and Higgs die, and he won the game versus Moz. They had 14 eliminations that game, also making them place in second at the time with Peterbot ahead of them. Game 4, Muz's trio win the game, getting revenge by killing Higgs, who placed second clutching up for his team. They managed to get 8 kills that game, so not a massive win. Also after this match, because of Clix's trio's consistency, they had the exact same points as first place, Peterbot's team with 310 points. 5th game, Clix's trio win, putting them in first place with 9 eliminations that game, and Peterbot's trio did not take this lightly. They said they were bored and wanted to key Clix's team. So in game 6 you can see Higgs looking for Surge, then Peterbot begins to key the trio, but everyone splits up and he follows Clix down, kills him and then afterwards seen emoting. Some people are speculating that Peterbot streams like Clix because he sat in the code and same with Cold. But as seen on the screen, there's way too much delay on the Fortnite stream and Clix's stream. So what I would have been seeing is just Clix looting up, and I would say personally this is a massive reach. And Peterbot just managed to track down Clix by knowing his rotates, he also baited him out by doing this.
Richard was just sitting on the black market with the coin. They thought they were like smart going to my PI and shit too, as if I wouldn't know they did that, and then I chased them down again.
Peterbot's trio didn't end up winning that game, but because they wiped Clix's trio early on, that wasn't an issue, and game 6, Visualize's trio won with 8 eliminations. Now for the top 5 leaderboard on NA Central day 1. 5th place was Booger's trio with 319 points, and I feel like this was an unexpected trio to place this high, since Booger doesn't have the same passion as he once did for the game before, and last season his team didn't place high. 4th place, another unexpected team was Reach trio. They had 363 points but couldn't manage to win any games. I believe they were holding the first place spot after 1 or 2 games as well, so a very consistent team, hopefully they can keep it up in day 2. 3rd place was Visual's trio, tied up with the exact same points, but because they won the last game, they're placed ahead of them. Yet again, another consistent trio, but need to pick up more kills. 2nd place, sadly, Clix's trio after being griefed last game by Peterbot. They got 411 points and 2 wins, so the most compared to any other teams. 1st place in day 1 by 50 points is Peterbot's team, of course having the most trio kills throughout all games. It's going to be very close going into day 2 since there's no double points, but this is the most confident trio by far. Also, before I move on to day 2 and the winners, it must be said that the zones for day 1 on both regions pulled north pretty much every game, which is unheard of. Even Aussie Antics himself tweeted out saying what's going on, which griefed multiple teams and has an extremely low chance of happening. Some people were speculating it's because of the Fortnite event seen in pubs, where the purple beam strikes down on Magic Moses, which usually the zone does pull towards live events for more players to see it, so I'm guessing that's the answer. But it shouldn't be happening in competitive games because there's no live events in tournaments. Canada was not happy about this since it griefed his team massively, leading him to place 9th with 236 points. And the previous FNCS winners, Poya's trio, also didn't play so well, coming 7th with 302 points, still possible for a top 5 in day 2 though. Day 2 of NA Central is finished and people are saying this is one of the best FNCS Grand Finals due to how close and intense it was. It literally got up to the last game where Clix and Peterbot were battling it out for the win. So the winners of this tournament, if you didn't know already, was Peterbot's trio by just an 11 points difference. They got 842 points in total, and Richard got his first ever FNCS win, Cole goes 3 times, and Peterbot now a 5 times FNCS champion. I think it's now had to be said that Peterbot is named the greatest Fortnite player of all time, but let's find out how he won it. Game 10 out of 12, Peterbot's trio had 758 points and Clix's trio with 742 points, so it's literally neck and neck. Going into the last game, it's about a 40 points difference between the two trios, and Peterbot and Clix's trio decided to not land on each other to grief them, but straight after losing, Clix wanted to grief Peterbot's team. They were pretty much fighting the whole game, but since it was so back and forth, they both ended up dying near the same time. So Clix couldn't close the gap, but definitely gave it its all. Also, the last place team was seen landing on Peterbot's trio, pretty much handing them a 312 points, and apparently they were griefing Clix at the same time. So if that didn't happen, Clix could have won his first ever FNCS. But there's lots of if, buts and maybes. The main thing is playing your best to every game. With that being said, Clix got his best competitive placement in his career so far, with a 2nd place in Grands and qualifying for LAN. They also had the most wins out of any teams in the tournament, getting 3 in 12 games. But the most impressive thing is though that they kept up with Peterbot's trio's teams for getting eliminations. They had 91 and Peterbot had 99, so a very close battle. 3rd place was Reed's team, doing a great job in day 1, continuing on the consistency. They managed to get 682 points, not much people believed in this team, and they have actually qualified to France. Moving on to 4th, another surprising team was Visuals. They got 679 points. And 5th place with a big comeback but a disappointing result was Poyo's team. They had 638 points, getting 2 second places and 1 win. They got grief on the zone pulse, but hopefully we'll see them perform better next time. Then top 6, 7 and 8 are some majors teams, so it's worth saying. Canalo from an unlucky day 1 managed to get 7th with 4th most kills in this tournament, so he pulled it back a little. That was a very short summary and definitely intense to watch it live. When you think about it, it was all up to the 12th match to find out the winner. I think there will be some true split ups in the future. Maybe Poyo will be back with Peterbot if Akon does sign a contract, but it's not certain. Thank you all for watching everyone, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
One kid fed Peterbot a kill, other 2 landed on us to try to steal our loot and run away. Biggest tournament of my life, and we're letting last place grief us.